Hi, everyone. I am Brianna. I'm one of the school counselors here. I'm joined by Sarah Schnell and Erica Mann, two of the other school counselors, and we are going to present some information to you about understanding the graduation requirements. We are recording this session, so just so you know that going into things, this is being recorded and it will be posted on the counselor website later. Additionally, if you have questions as we go through the session, you can use the chat feature, and that will give us the opportunity to be able to gather all those questions, and then we will answer them at the end. The Lunch and Learn series is something that we do to offer for the parents to give you a quick, focused, intentional way of giving one specific topic that we hit in just 30 minutes. Our goal is always to do about 15 minutes of a presentation and then spend the last about 15 minutes being able to answer any questions that you have related to that topic. And so I am going to share my screen and we're going to walk through the presentation about the graduation requirements with all of you. So as you start looking at graduation requirements, this overview is kind of a nice snapshot. It's a graphic, it's available on the counselor website, on the district website, and it shows the different aspects that are required for a student to be able to graduate from high school. It is different than when I graduated from high school, and for all of you parents out there likely from when you graduated high school, it's different than it was 5 years ago. It's actually different than a year ago. Graduation requirements are continuing to change, and the state is setting what those standards are. And for classes of the current senior class and beyond, there are these requirements for covering the basics, which are your academic classes, showing competency, and demonstrating readiness. And so we're going to go into all of those as a part of the presentation today. And I am going, Mrs. Mann, I think this is yours.
Yep, it is. So, hi, I'm Mrs. Mann. I'm one of the counselors here. The 20 credits is the first part of the 3-part graduation process. So students are required, and this is all set forth by ODE, to earn 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 3 credits of science, 3 credits of social studies, half a credit of health, half a credit of phys ed or elect for the physical education waiver, 5 credits of electives that they can take an array of classes here at the school, financial literacy requirement, and 1 full year of fine art, which needs to be completed anywhere between 7th grade and 12th grade year. In terms of the physical education waiver, if students do elect for the waiver, then instead of having 5 elective credits, then they are required to have obtained 5.5 elective credits. Okay. And then the next part, so the first step is earning those 20 credits. The next step is showing competency. So when we talk about our competency, students will, primarily the main way that most of our students will show competency is through the state end of course tests. So they are tested in Math 1 and English 2. Most of our students will take that Math 1 test of April of their freshman year. Most of our students will take the English 2 test April of their sophomore year. So students need to earn a 684 or higher on those end of course tests. If students do not meet that benchmark, they can retake tests each winter and spring to attempt to reach the needed score. But we know that high school is typically 4 years for our students. If students cannot hit that benchmark of 684, there are 4 other options for students to consider for meeting competency. So we have more details listed out on our website, and your counselor will certainly be helping assist your child with going through the other options. But just to kind of touch base on them, the first option would be using an ACT or an SAT remediation free score. So they're looking for, if students are using an ACT score, they're looking for an 18 in English, 22 in reading. SAT, that would be a score of 480. And then for the ACT, you also need a score of 22 in the math section, or for SAT, that would be a score of 530. Students can also, if they take a College Credit Plus course class, then they can show competency through College Credit Plus. They can also show career readiness, and there's a couple of different ways. So they have to earn 2 of the following, and one of those must be a foundational. Again, more of the details are going to be on our website, but the foundational ways to earn competency is to score or to earn 12 points in an industry recognized credential program, or be proficient a 3 or higher in on any of the WebEx programs, and also earn a state issued license for a vocation or pre-apprenticeship program, which I know Worthington is continually looking to add more to their pre-apprenticeship programs. So that's the foundational component. The supporting, there's a couple of ways. So they need a foundational and a supporting. You can earn 250 work-based learning hours. You can meet WorkKeys required score, and you can earn the Ohio Means Job Seal. Again, that's a lot of information we just threw at you. Your student's counselor is going to be able to really kind of go into detail with you and your child about what these options are, if the career readiness is the way that you're seeking to earn the competency. And the last option would be military enlistment. So students that enlist in the military, and that includes taking the ASVAB.
Okay, so then the third and final bucket of graduation requirements is known as the readiness requirement. And so for this aspect of graduation, students need to earn 2 seals. One of those 2 seals being a state seal. Now, some of you are probably saying, like, Sarah, I don't even know what a seal is or what that means. And that is a great point to wonder about and to ask. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Overall, there are 12 seals total. Sorry, Brianna, I jumped ahead a little bit, that students can earn. Again, one of those has to be a state seal. So if we do go to the next one, you'll see that the 9 state seals are listed here. There are various ways to earn different seals. So primarily, one of the main seals that we'll see students earn often is the science seal. And so we have them linked here, but as you can see, you can also access these on the counselor website. There are 12 seals, so I won't be able to go into detail about all of them, but this is a great resource to look at. So for the science seal, Mrs. Mann mentioned the end of course exams. So students, sophomores typically who take biology, they'll take the state biology test in the spring. And if they earn a 3 or higher on that end of course exam, they earn a state seal. They earn the science seal. That's check, 1 seal earned. There are also other ways to earn the science seal. One of them being, you'll see at the bottom of the page, if they earn a B or higher in an advanced level science. So if a student takes chemistry and they get a B or higher, then they earn a seal that way as well. Then next, we will talk about local seals. And that's on the next one. And so you'll see that 9 were state, 3 are local seals. So you'll see the fine and performing arts, the community service seal, and the student engagement seal. The 2 most common are the fine and performing arts and the student engagement seal. So I'll talk a little bit about the student engagement. And there are various ways to earn this as well. So you'll see again on the counselor website, wkhscounselors.com, quick plug there. You'll see that students can participate in 2 of any combination of what we see listed. So 1 season of a sport, 1 performance, whether it's a drama, play, a musical, and 1 school approved activity or club. So if your child is a soccer player and they play 2 seasons of soccer, that's student engagement. If they play 1 season of a sport and are also in soccer club or career club or any of those clubs, those are all school approved, that would work too. So a combination of 2 of any of these. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, I know I'm not able to go into all 12 of these seals, but our counseling website has links to each description of how to earn any of these seals.
And so you might be wondering where your child stands in their progress towards those academic requirements, their competency, and their seals. And so all of that information is available to you. It's actually not through Infinite Campus though. So it's through the Worthington portal. So when you log into the Worthington portal, when you go into that information, that one of the options, and you can see it circled here, is their graduation status form. And so when you click on that, you'll see a sheet that's similar to how these are set up. These are actual student graduation status forms. And so you'll be able to see where their academic piece is. And then over on the right-hand side, beyond that, you'll see whether or not they've met their competency requirement and whether or not they've met their seal requirements. Again, if you have a freshman, it is pretty much not, as long as if they're following the traditional pathway, they won't have any seals yet. That is normal. In fact, for many of the sophomores, they won't have any seals yet. That is normal. So it is a process that takes time for them to be able to get all of that. A lot of it will start appearing as they start their junior year. You'll start seeing more of those seals and the competency piece being met. But we want them to be making progress towards their academics, their competency, and their seals, and being intentional and forward thinking as they're going through the process. And so making sure that you also as parents know how to find that information is important. So again, if you log in through the portal and you can go to that student graduation status form, you'll be able to see that summary of where your child currently stands. And that's information we're also going to be giving to students in a couple of weeks here as we start that registration process, to make sure that everybody's aware of where they are so that they can keep their eyes focused on where they want to go eventually. So now we are going to answer your questions that you have. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can also see the chat and make sure that I give that. I do want to, I know that Sarah already pointed out the Kilbourne Counselor website, wkhscounselors.com. When in doubt, if you're not sure where to look, use the search bar and you can search for information, because we do have a ton of information on the counselor website to try and make that as easy and user-friendly for you as possible. But again, if you have questions, you can start typing them into the chat and we'll be able to read those out for everybody and answer them for all of you, because we want to make sure that we're giving you the information that matters to you and that is helpful to you, and to be able to answer all of those questions.
Yep. So our first question on the chat, is a foreign language course considered an elective course? Yes, it is. Foreign language is not a state requirement. It does not play any factor into the 20 credits. It does go for elective credit.
And for students that in middle school earned both the like if they took Spanish 1A in 7th grade and Spanish 1B in 8th grade, those do count as high school electives as well. So those are credits, elective credits that some students are coming into high school with, even before they were students here.
Okay, the next question, what are the total possible points for the end of course tests? So I think what is the highest score that it goes up to?
5. So that the maximum, the highest score, if somebody scored the highest amount of points possible, it's a 5. For the competency, a 684 is actually a score of a 2, but it's a high 2. So not all 2s qualify for competency. For the seals, they have to have a 3 or higher. For the things that qualify them for the seal is off of testing. Not everything qualifies off of testing, but great questions. Other things you've been wondering or thinking about as you're looking at planning? I had a student email me today with a question regarding graduation requirements, and she wanted to know whether or not she has to complete community service in order to graduate. So the answer to that is no. Students do not have to complete a certain number of community service hours in order to graduate. Obviously, community service is a great thing and a wonderful opportunity for students to be able to show their commitment to the community and to the school and being able to make that positive difference. So it's a great thing to have for applications and for just personal well-being, but we do not have that as a part of the graduation requirements. And I know that there have been a couple of people who've already popped off. So as you're continuing to type in your questions or thinking of things, we do still want those, but I also wanted to point out that our next Lunch and Learn session is going to be on March 17th. So St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully that
Wear
makes
your
it
green.
yeah, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier to remember. But we're going to be talking about mental health. And so there's lots of stuff related to mental health that is obviously really important to us as counselors and to our school and the well-being of all students. And so we're hopeful that that's going to be a great session as well. So on St. Patrick's Day at 12, that's going to be our next Lunch and Learn session. Again, we're still taking your questions now though. So if you think of other things, don't hesitate to jot that into the chat, because we want to make sure that that you understand how all of those academic courses and then the competency and readiness works for you and your son or daughter. I think one thing that a lot of students worry about, like what Mrs. Mann was talking about, is like, if I'm really bad at testing, does that mean I'm not going to be able to graduate? And that's where all of those other pathways and options, there are lots of opportunities for students to be able to make sure that we can support them and get them a pathway that will lead them to graduation, because that is the most important thing, is making sure that they are able to showcase their best selves. And that includes graduating from high school.
Yeah. And we've had to kind of be flexible with the courses that we offer, that we want to make sure that we're aligning some of the classes that we offer here at Kilbourne to helping to earn the competency. Like one of our classes that we've put on the registration card for this year is career mentorship, which students take the 12-point industry recognized credential in that course. And the teacher has done a phenomenal job of also walking through Ohio Means Jobs with students. So we know what the state's asking for, and that's why we're tailoring our curriculum and offering students the ability to earn the competency while they're here at school, right? So getting high school credit, but then also helping to check off some of the competency or seals, because ODE likes to throw us some curveballs.
So we will hang here and answer any more questions that you have, but the graduation requirements can seem overwhelming. They are really not. It's about doing, making that progress on a daily basis. And so we appreciate you, your support of your students and helping them to be here and be present and keep working hard, because they will get there. And we're excited to be a part of that journey with them. So again, thank you all for being here. If you have other questions, don't hesitate to again, add into that chat, and we will stick here and answer any more questions that you have. But otherwise, enjoy you get a bonus 12 minutes of your lunch. So enjoy the rest of your lunch break. Thanks for spending some of the time with us.
We appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do.